Hi, welcome to another Create This Book video. If you're new here, I am Paula, and today I'm going to tackle 4 prompts of the book, which is something I don't think I've done before. And if you're not new here, you know I like to make my pages a little bit interactive, so I think we should get started.
Here's my beautiful book, and the first prompt we have today is create a national holiday. You have to make up a holiday and figure out the best way to celebrate. I'm definitely bringing in an extra sheet of paper for this, and I'm taking measurements because I'm a little bit tired of miscalculating the space that I need to leave for the drawings to fit properly in the book. The holiday I made up is Nutella Day because we really love it in this household. My kids love it. We eat probably way too much of it. And to that point, I just interrupted my editing to go help my son scrape as much as we can out of this empty jar so he can put it on a toast as a snack. For the celebration, there is going to be a party, and a lot of characters I've drawn before are coming to have Nutella, I guess. The first character is my beautiful panda that I made out of clay and inspired by a character from the Adam Sandler movie Spaceman. He is carrying a jar of Nutella instead of the jar for flowers he usually has. In the movie, there's this spider alien character called Hanush that for some part of the movie carries a jar of hazelnut spread. I mean, it's obviously Nutella, they probably just didn't want to sponsor the movie. And he carries and eats it for soothing. I love that. I mean, we've all done it. So that's why Boo Boo Panda Bear is holding his own jar for soothing. And that's one way you can celebrate, by bringing your Nutella or by dressing up to match Nutella or wearing a costume as the thing you like most with Nutella. And because my favorite is fruit, bananas and strawberries to be exact, those are the costumes shown in this celebration today. First up is this little mouse dressed as a strawberry. He's a strong and resilient little fellow, and he is here to support anxious me, who's also coming to the party and is also dressed as a fruit. He is a very stressed out banana. My butterfly bunny, BB, is also coming to the party and is in charge of decorations. Then I have Billy, my little cute alien with his cow plushie. He's there waiting in line to get into that giant jar. And in there is this bunny who was eating all of the ice cream on my last Create This Book video. So we know he has a sweet tooth, and he also needs a name, so maybe that should be his name, Sweet Tooth. After I had all my drawing down, I lined it with my micron pens, and there were some little things I did wrong, and at first I tried to fix them by changing the line width, but that didn't look well. So I just decided to trace the whole thing again and start over. Yeah, that's much better, a clean start. Let's get rid of that one, and of course now it was time to color everything. Here we go. If you're not new to my channel, you might know that my alcohol marker set does not include red. So for things that were gonna be red, I added a pink underlayer, and I was gonna do it later with color pencils. I also added some marker stripes for a background, which I immediately regretted, but somehow it doesn't look as bad in the end, and it kinda works. I was gonna add details with color pencils, but before that I cleaned my mat a little bit because the markers did bleed through a lot. And here we go. The first thing I do is use 3 different red pencils to be able to get that Nutella shade from the label. Added more shadows with colors, fix a little thing or two, and this illustration is done. Of course, now it was time to put it inside the book, and I realized I hadn't thought about a way to make this page interactive. So to remedy that, I again brought back a character I've drawn before. She was hiding in paint water the first time we saw her, so I saw it fitting for her to hide in the Nutella this time. So I just traced the base drawing to figure out the space I had to draw her, and this time she's gonna be hanging from one of those cookie straws. I think you could eat Nutella with one of those in order to get a sugar coma maybe, but it still would be delicious, I think. I drew her, lined her, colored her, and protected her with some packing tape. Cut her out, and I cut a slit in the Nutella so she can come through to surprise us. Now I was really done, so I just glued the page inside my book. And I have to share with you, on the last stages of the process, I thought I would Google if there's an actual Nutella day, and guess what? There is. I should have Googled it first, but I didn't. I just got carried away with the idea. So in the prompt space, I'm writing that today is definitely not February 5, which is the actual day for the Nutella day. Another thing I did was sign this page and date it. I've noticed I'm not signing things for some reason. I'm forgetting to sign everything I make, but today I remember. And that led me to the second prompt for the day. Create symmetry. Now I saw this and all I could think about was creating a butterfly-shaped stain like the oh my god, how do you pronounce that? Wait.
How do you say it? Rorschach. Raw-shack. Stress on the first syllable. Rorschach.
Okay, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I had no idea. Anyhow, I went for this stains by folding a piece of paper with paint on it. And I saw that my friend Ashley Monet had exactly the same thought process and impulse. I guess that was a very strong subliminal prompt with that drawing. Go check her video out. She, of course, took a slightly different route, but it was amazing as always. I don't know how I lost footage of bringing in the paper and starting this, but here we are. I just started to add paint to half of the page, mimicking a butterfly. We've all done this, right? It's just so satisfying to do. So I closed my paper, opened it up. So satisfying. It's so delicious. And this is so fun to make. That was it. I just needed it to dry. After it dried, I cut out the butterfly shape from the paper and I'm gonna put it inside my book. But I'm gonna do it as a pop-up. I've done this before, so all you need is 2 rectangles made of construction paper and then you glue them to the page so they can fold up and down as the book opens and closes. Now you would think because I've done it before I would get this right on the first try, but I didn't. I had to glue it and test it. It didn't work, so I had to tear it apart. Glued it back again, but this time directly on the butterfly to better place it in the middle of the book. I thought that would work, but see how much of the butterfly is sticking out from the book? Not good. I had to pull it out again and try to figure it out. Maybe those rectangles needed to be folded onto the other side? I don't even remember what I did now that I'm watching this. I just know I had to try a couple of times for it to work, and the last time I moved it and glued it back, it finally did. It pops up. Yay! Applause to me! And we're done with this prompt. This is probably the fastest prompt I've ever done in this book, even with the mistakes. And it's interactive, so I'm very happy about it. Next prompt, create a garden. Draw a beautiful garden with vegetables, flowers, and as many other plants as you like. Again, bringing in an extra sheet of paper and putting it on top of the book to see where the prompt is. I drew a flower around it so I can cut that out after I'm done with my drawing. And again, I'm calculating the space I need so I don't mess up. I decided to do a vegetable garden. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a vegetarian, so this is what I went for. I made a little scarecrow bunny. I love him so much. His ears, can you tell? They are old socks, those like long athletic socks with stripes. Then I drew a bunch of leaves representing the root vegetables that I'm gonna have in the garden. Outlined everything and tried to erase the pencil lines with whatever was left of this eraser. And then I started to paint with my alcohol markers. With the marker coloring done, I was going to jump into pencils, but before that I decided to change the shape of the cutout for the prompt from a flower to a cloud so it would make more sense in the sky. I colored it softly and then added a few more details. First part was done, now it was time to do all of these root vegetables that are gonna be planted and pull out from my garden. I calculated the appropriate space and drew a beetroot, turnip, carrot, and sweet potato. Color them, cover them with packing tape because they are going to be manipulated, so I need to protect them and make them sturdier. Cut them out and here they are. Oops, that sweet potato was upside down. I place my vegetable characters on top of my drawing, which I already cut in two, and figure out where I wanted them. I then cut a slit for each to pull out, colored any white paper showing with a paint marker, and glued everything into the book. Here they are, and I think they're so lovely. Here's my beetroot, turnip, carrot, and sweet potato. It's kind of sad how the leaves cover the bunny scarecrow, but when you pull them out, you can see it better. Time to move to the final prompt of the day, and it says, put your pen or pencil on the page and move it in a swirly motion for 20 seconds. Okay, I decided to do this with a brush because I've seen this, I don't know where, in TikTok, Shorts, Pinterest, or everywhere, who knows. But I wanted to try it for so long, and this was the perfect excuse, I thought. Again, copy your paper and now a bunch of acrylics in blue colors. I just dotted them everywhere, and then just like the videos, I grabbed the brush and moved it in a swirly motion, and my results are not great. I figured it needs to have more paint, so I add that and swirled over the page, and I kind of try to fix it and make it prettier. I left it to dry, and when it was dry, it seemed flat and underwhelming to me. So I thought I could make it nicer by adding some depth with colored pencils and paint markers. And I was doing that when it occurred to me this could be a celestial happening in outer space, and I could have a little spaceship flying through here. But before going to do that, I decided I needed to add more texture with Poscas, smudging the paint with my fingers, spilling some paint, smudging that too, which led to me bringing in my glitter watercolors, which I used a lot of. I think it was an excess. I was abusing the material, but I was just having fun. I also added some little stars with my white Posca, which I still regret, and I finally called it done. Took that little piece of tape off, and it's pretty shiny, but it's not great. I think it was way too much. I brought it back to the book and realized I did it again. I forgot to leave space for the prompt. But that one was an easy fix because it was a straight cut. So I glued the first half in, and then before gluing the second half, I tried to figure out how to make the space rocket thing happen. For that, I painted a little rocket ship with the glitter watercolors again, and I made this paper model to see if it would work the way I wanted it to move. Why did I make a model? If I wasn't gonna follow it, you'll see. Because the model did work, I did prepare this long piece of paper and a paper hinge. But when it came time to cut the paper to create the path for this sliding ship, I don't know what possessed me to cut a curvy line instead of a straight one. What? Why did I decide to follow the swirls? That was my mistake. I had to trash that piece of paper I prepared, bring in some extra cardstock, and figure out on the fly how to make it fit with my idea again. I punched a hole through the strip of paper anyhow, and I attached it to the paper hinge from the other side of the page. Secured that with a piece of washi tape and tested it. It kinda moves, success, good enough. So I was gonna glue my rocket onto the hinge, but then decided I wanted it to hide a bit before taking off, so I cut an extra slit on my swirls. Finally glued the spaceship onto the hinge, cut a slit for the paper strip to go through, and I was ready to put everything in the book. Glued to sides only at first to check that everything would work, and I noticed the spaceship's path left a window of white paper underneath, so I painted that, and then I was ready to glue it in completely. And finally with that, this final prompt is done, and I can show you everything we made today. We created a Nutella party, which is actually celebrated on February 5, and there's a bunch of my characters coming to play. I forgot to mention BB has different colored wings on her because she is dressed to match the occasion. She is in the decorations committee, she had to match. Next, this could be my favorite to make. I think I could make dozens of these and still enjoy the process. So much fun. Then we made me a vegetable garden with the most adorable scarecrow, and then finally we made swirls, which I just could not leave alone as plain regular swirls. Of course, I had to complicate things and add the spaceship, which is kind of hard to move, but it moves, okay? And why did I not stop at swirls? Why did I have to make this page so complicated? Well, because if you've seen my other Create This Book videos, you know I win first place for overcomplicating things. Here is the paper medal I made for myself in the book, which moves when you open and close it. And you know what? That straight ribbon still bothers me, so as I say goodbye to you and thank you for watching, especially if you're here all the way in the end, I'm going to stay here and fix it by coloring again. So thank you for being here. If this is your first video, go watch my Create This Book playlist so you can catch up. And if not, well, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video next. I hope you're having the most wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!